Hello guys, welcome to another psychology slash edge principle building video. Starting a new series and focusing primarily on discussing principles that have helped me develop my edge. And these are going to be really, really important principles because you need to really understand the power behind your brain, right? Your brain has tremendous amount of power, and the moment you realize that you don't need to do everything by yourself, right, you simply need to leverage the god-given ability that you have. And hopefully with some of these videos, in terms of the principle that I utilize, as time goes by and I'm able to reverse engineer some of the things that I have done to build the edge that I have right now, it helps you uncover how you can take that and build your own edge in your journey as a trader, because there's a few set of principles that's important, right? That's synonymous regardless of what domain that you are in, that can help you succeed in life. And I truly believe one of the best thing that you can do as a trader, as even as an entrepreneur in general, is mastering the understanding and how to leverage contextual knowledge versus procedural knowledge. Contextual knowledge is the ability to learn from different domain and then take things that you learn from maybe one area of your life and then apply it to other domain or other area of your life, things of nature. So it's always looking at why things move the way they are, why things are set the way they are, and why this needs to be this way, and try to understand the reasoning behind it. And then the moment you start doing that, the more often you do that, then you're going to start realizing how you can take those answers and try to apply it to other part of your life. I wanted to just preface that before we go into the video. Today's video is going to be the 3 stages of learnings. We're going to go over this, but I wanted to use an example, real life example, to describe the first stage, right? Which is going to be learned knowledge. That's going to be the very first stage. So the story that I want to utilize here is, think of a book that you ever read for the very first time. You read the book, it's amazing, right? You learn a lot from reading that books, and then you gather such amazing amount of knowledge. For some of you that are in the entrepreneurship world, it could have been The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's a really good classic right there. You get what I'm saying? There's a lot of classic self-help book that we all have read at some point, right? As we begin that self-development journey as an entrepreneur, maybe to better our skill set on how to deal with other people, because we realize that's a very important thing to understand. And then we gain a lot of understanding from that, right? That's learn knowledge. That's the first stage of learning. Anybody can accomplish that. Next stage is, after reading that information, maybe you go through life, you have ups and downs. Maybe you get into a relationship, maybe you start a business. And then slowly but surely, you start experiencing some of those lessons discussed in that book. And maybe subconsciously or consciously, you actually utilize some of that information. And then when you come back and reread that book, you find that those book information actually helped you along the way. And then the moment that you have applied that information, whether that was intentionally or unintentionally, you have moved into the next stage, where it's applied knowledge. The moment you take any sort of knowledge that you have learned and then you find ways to apply it, you graduate from simply learn knowledge to now apply knowledge. Applied knowledge is simply the application of what you have learned. It's very, very simple, but it deepens your level of understanding of whatever you have learned. That's the reason why, for example, people that are looking to get into sales, because I used to be in sales when I was like very, very young, maybe like 19, 20. I tell people, like, if you really want to be good at sales, yes, read those books, take the training, but join anything that allows you to sell, because I'm gonna tell you this right now, without applying that knowledge, you're really only gonna unlock 5 to maybe 15% of the actual power behind that knowledge. Because when you actually practice it, it doesn't really matter what you do. You just need to practice it, find some type of job, maybe you're selling, go into business for yourself and then sell, but find ways to do it consistently, intensively for an extended period of time, maybe for 6 months, maybe for a year. By doing that, it's almost going to give you a PhD in that specific domain, because you're applying the knowledge. Applying it actually teaches you way faster than even in the learning stage, because in the learning stage, you may learn surface level information, you may learn a portion of it, but if you apply it, you're going to learn the remaining portion of it that was never even mentioned in the book. Never. Now, the final stage of learning, it is going to be transferred knowledge. Transfer knowledge means that from you applying that knowledge, now you want to take everything that you have learned, and then you want to find a way to convey that information to someone else. so that they're able to learn and extract from it, but not only just transfer it verbatim, but transfer in a way where you customize the delivery based on the experience that you have had with that information. This is where you really start building wisdom, because now you're applying your personal life experience and a lesson that's customized based on your experience, based on your lens, your perspective. That's unique, that's contextual. By doing that, you're moving away from procedural. Remember earlier in the beginning of this video, I talked about procedural versus contextual. The moment you go into that third stage, transferring knowledge, and then you make sure that that transfer knowledge, whenever you transfer it, is customized based on your experience, based on your perspective. You're teaching that knowledge that you learned in that first stage through your own lens, through your life. When you do that, you are literally going from not only teaching someone the knowledge that you have mastered, not from a procedural standpoint, but from a contextual standpoint, right? This context behind that is the reason why Alex Hormozi, if some of you don't know who Alex Hormozi is, he's a successful entrepreneur, well-known entrepreneur, has a lot of really great information online about how to succeed running a business, really massive organization, acquisition.com, that does really well for itself. Now, he gives out a lot of free information online. I think he does so because he understands what I just talked about just now. It doesn't really matter if people learn the information. What really matters is the transfer knowledge. That transfer knowledge is what people are seeking, because nobody wants to sit here and read a freaking book, like try to learn information as if it was a procedure, right? They want to learn the contextual way of essentially understanding it. That's the reason why with Alex Hormozi information that he gives out online, he doesn't care. Like, he gives out all the information that he has, like in his paid mentorship, for free, because he understands even if you give it out for free, people will still want the context. If they really see that you are the expert that you claim to be, just with the information that you give out, they still want to learn from you from the contextual standpoint. Especially the right people. The right people are still going to come to you and learn and say, you know what, I believe whatever you shared is already amazing. I can see that this information is not just procedural, but I still want to understand and have deeper context in the way this is taught. This is the reason why, even though he puts out a lot of free information about all the stuff that he has in his pay mentorship, people still want to pay, because they want a deeper context. They want that experience from him, what he has gone through, his lens, and then also him customizing that answer based upon his experience, and then making it transferable in terms of like, okay, I'm not going to just give you the information that I learned through my experience, right? I'm also going to understand where you're coming from and then customize it. I already proven that I can take the procedural knowledge and then give you a contextual understanding around it. I have already proven it. So that same principle applies into trading, where if you're trying to build a higher level of understanding of any sort of concept that you learn from other people, you first need to question why it works the way it works. What was the context that led you to building that model? What was the process behind it? Once you understand the context and you understand that it's not just procedural knowledge that they're sharing, it's not something that they just regurgitated from maybe some other YouTuber or some other place that they just picked up relatively fast, and then they're trying to just push it out. So when people are sharing, one of the best way to discern information is listening for context behind how they created that model, behind how they created that strategy. If you're not hearing or catching the procedural portion of it, how they have created that, where is that I'm hearing that process? Where is that I'm hearing the journey behind putting this together, and what is like each steps of the way? If you're not catching that as you're talking to someone, first you have to ask for it. Don't assume obviously that it's BSing you. Ask for it, right? Ask all the questions. But if you can't get that out of them, that information is most likely procedural knowledge, meaning that they have not really gone to practicing. They have not met that second stage of learning, or maybe they're still going through it and they have not really found a way to transfer that. Those are the true answers that typically comes out of if they cannot really give me those specific type of answer. If I'm trying to understand the context behind how did they come up with that information, how did they build that model, because that's how you're going to need to discern as a brand new trader how to pick the information and then place into whatever you're going through in building your edge. Whatever I'm describing right now is the way to discern, and it's almost describing your own learning stage as well, but most importantly discernment, because without discernment you won't know what to filter, you won't know how to understand and see through the BS, because in this industry, I'm gonna tell you this, there is a lot of BS. There's so many marketing scheme being done. People posing as profitable trader, posing as if they have the experience. You consistently see just marketing, and you don't see anything that ties to what I described. Then that person just have first or second stage knowledge. They have not crossed over that third stage where they have a deep understanding of that concept, because maybe they have gone through and have applied themselves, and then they have already found ways to potentially transfer it in a way where they are connecting the lesson that they have learned in their own life with whatever that they're transferring. So people can actually relate to that information. With that said, I know that was a lot. You're probably going to need to come back to this video and watch it again at some point in your journey to really grasp some of the lesson that is being described here. But these are some of the things that you're going to need to understand, right, as you're building your edge, because the summit is extremely important, right? And those three stages of learning, contextual versus, procedural knowledge, and most importantly, like discernment, are going to be critical element of your success in trading. I have nothing else for you today. I hope this was insightful as always. And if you find this valuable, I appreciate a share, like, and then don't forget to subscribe, obviously, to make sure to be notified whenever I release a brand new video. I hope you guys have a wonderful, fantastic trading day. Stay in profit. Till next time, peace.